Late night crypto technical analysis. Let's do this, baby, yeah. All right, so my day has been off schedule. I just talked about in the broader stock market video about headlines and Russia and all that. I'm going to attach that clip to the end of this video. So the crypto space reacted to those headlines, but I'm just going to talk about the charts and where we stand and what we're looking at. And anything to do with Russia and headlines is at the end of this video, in my opinion on that. So the broader market, weekly equilibrium is shaping up. I am anticipating weekly higher lows and tightening ranges through February, or at least until the end of February. And that's the most likely scenario for me. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm scouting a weekly higher low on the S&P 500. Is it possible that we drop to a lower low? Absolutely. It's not possible without notable bear volume. If we see notable bear volume, it'll increase the odds that that's going to happen. Without notable bear volume, equilibrium is what is going to take shape, in my opinion. So we're watching that very closely because we know the correlation with the broader market and Bitcoin has been very notable. We also know that Bitcoin has been holding on better than the broader market over the last 6 weeks or so. It led the bounce. And now on this pullback, it's very similar. So if we look at Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, again, I'm scouting weekly higher lows in a lot of places in the crypto space. And we're at a scenario right now where the time frames aren't aligning ideally. What do I mean by that? Clarity wise, we broke the low of last week's candle. And that is because we closed at the low of the candle. We saw a tiny bit of bear follow through. And on the new candle, let me just make sure that's the case. Yep. And so technically, weekly consolidation is underway. That being said, we're still in a daily uptrend. So generally speaking, I will say when we lose the daily uptrend, weekly consolidation is underway. And the majority of the time, that's the case. And that's the clarity. And that's how it's easy to keep things simple and compartmentalized in our brain. But right now, we're in a scenario where technically weekly consolidation started, but we're still in an uptrend. So if we keep this daily uptrend going, let's say we hold EMA 12, nice hold by the way, grinding that level, holding it for now. There's two things that are going to happen right now. We're going to set either a lower high and lower low. Then, okay, convincing weekly consolidation is underway. We're scouting the weekly higher low. But if we set a daily higher low here and then see continuation, is that a weekly trend change? No, I'm considering that all the same move. So even though we broke the low of the previous weekly candle by a wee little bit, the daily uptrend is what I'm concerned with right now. So here's our reaction to Russia headlines. And if we want to zoom in, we can see high volume. We drop down. There's your bear reaction and there's your bull reaction. And where we stand, it's a potential little cup and handle like pattern. So what's the cup and handle pattern? It's a clear resistance level. You make it back to that resistance and then you bull flag. This is a 30-minute time frame. So we have a double top at 42.9, we'll call it. We'll round up a little bit. And we can say that if this 30-minute time frame holds EMA 12, then it's a potential bull flag. So the best case for the bulls obviously would be break that double top of resistance. From there, it's 43.50. But we need a 4-hour trend change. And it's trying to shape up. So the way I'm viewing this is our low of consolidation, our high of the bounce, quick little higher low, and if we get over that level of 42.9, I do consider that a 4-hour trend change to the bulls, and I do consider that our daily higher low being set. And again, from there, it's just a question of, do we set a daily lower high? There's a lot of space for it. We could see a bull move of another, well, it's not a ton of space. What is it, 400? No. 1,000 I meant. 3,000? So maybe 6%, 7% to get up to that level. Certainly doable in the crypto world. But we would need some decent volume for the bulls to get up there. But I'm going to be cautious of a daily lower high, just because that space has been created. And we're battling weekly EMA resistance and initially rejecting. Dominance chart, still strong, but still not doing anything on the weekly that I care about. Again, as long as we're under 47.70, I'm going to anticipate that this is just going to continue to be a long, drawn-out, tightening pattern for a significant amount of time. And when it breaks, I will be very interested in what that tells us, but it can continue shaping up for another couple months easy. Ethereum. So Ethereum is looking for a daily higher low as well. 4-hour, not a clear trend change shaping up. We look at the hourly, we can see the V-shaped bounce, the lower high, potential for an hourly equilibrium. If Bitcoin loses that 30-minute EMA 12, we know after significant volatility, we scout equilibriums. So we'll just be looking for the hourly tightening range overnight. But the burden is on the Ethereum bulls to convincingly set this daily higher low And again, there's a lot of space for that lower high, more space than on Bitcoin. So from where we stand, we would need over 10% to see a higher high. So the most likely scenario for me is a daily lower high on names like Ethereum. I did re-enter a swing position. So on the way up, I had a swing position from 2,600. And again, these are from the videos over the last couple of weeks, but sold half in the upper 2,700s and then sold the other half when I stopped out in the mid, like $3,050, something like that. So a nice solid swing trade. Back to all cash and crypto. So because I'm back to all cash and crypto, aside from long-term no touch, I'm a lot less picky re-entering a swing position. I see a pullback of double-digit percentage while still in a daily uptrend. Normally, if I'm entering a trade, it's a 14% pullback. If I'm entering a trade, I'm zooming in, I'm establishing clear levels. But if I'm re-entering a swing trade that I just locked in significant profit on, I'm a lot less picky. 14% pullback, still in a daily uptrend, great, I'll enter. Don't even need to zoom into the hourly. And that's just a different trading style where, say I re-enter at 2,900, if I just locked in on that same position size, a $400 move, I've got profit cushion on my last trade to keep me very comfortable. We can drop down to 2,400 and then I'd say, okay, I just gave back all of my last trade and that's not good. But just want to share that I'm a lot less picky in the swing trade mindset scenario that I just laid out. So I did re-enter Ethereum on this drop, looking at this hourly falling wedge pattern that shaped up, and I did enter before it had shaped up nicely. Again, you can see it's a clear break. Look at the volume spike and the biggest hourly green candle in the last 24 plus hours. In my opinion, that's responding to this falling wedge bull break. But long story short, I've got a swing position back in at 2,900. So if we see a bull move over 29.67, I will then use that low as my stop. And I'll be risking a very small amount of the profit that I just made on the last swing trade. Because if we start that bounce, that's our daily high or low being set. And if we drop down from there, we are confirming a daily downtrend and we're confirming further weekly consolidation. And I would then still going to look for a weekly high or low, but I know I can probably get that position a good bit lower. So that's my game plan from here. I don't have a stop on this position right now, but it's small enough swing size position and it has enough profit cushion from the last trade that I'm not really overly concerned at the moment. A little bit more upside and I'll put that stop in. ETH BTC is scouting a weekly high or low, but we don't have much space. That could be a weekly bear flag. Daily chart trying to bounce. So I'm choosing Ethereum because of my comfort of trading Ethereum, but I also chose Mana as well, which we'll look at in just a moment. And ETH BTC definitely needs to set this monthly high or low if it's going to stay strong. Monthly inside bar at the moment, EMA 12 still holding the higher lows. But we do need to shape up a weekly trend change back to the bulls for a monthly high or low to be set. I'm not loving where ETH BTC stands right now. Let's go to the 2-day chart. So that's a bit more clear. Just low, high of the bounce, and trying for that higher low. So if we get that higher low, then I'll be choosing the right coin as far as Bitcoin or Ethereum. And if we don't, then it'll be the wrong coin. So need that bull move on the BTC pairing. So Mana is, again, same mindset. I definitely sold Mana early. I had a great entry and I had a great win, but sold early. On this kind of pullback, 20% plus with a lower high every single day. For me, it's different. If you're stair-stepping down, I am less interested here. But because it's just a straight drop of 20% plus, that gets me interested because I know even, worst case, we get a little weak bear flag and then see continuation down, but that bear flag allows me to position. So I know I'm scouting a weekly high or low on Mana. And again, it's the same thing. If we set a daily high or low, which we haven't yet, but if we do, and then confirm a daily downtrend, I will stop out and look to buy the weekly high or low at a lower level. So right now, the position that I entered was this morning at 277. And again, it was just recognizing that the crypto space as a whole, led by a Bitcoin falling wedge, was likely to see a little bit of bullish action. So I entered at 277 and still in that position. Need a break of 289. If 289 breaks, I'm then comfortably profitable and I put my stop under 272. And at that point in time, I'll be up at least 13 cents, and my risk will be maybe 6 cents. So already the reward will be double my risk. So giving the bulls a chance to start these daily bounces. Mana BTC, weekly, don't care. Daily, need that bounce to start. 4 hour. So leveling out here, trying to shift some momentum. It's this hourly, need to get over 676. There's 675, 676, little triple top here. And my Mana BTC trade will be successful as far as how I'm going to position myself and where I'm going to put my stops if that level breaks. If that level does not break, then bears remain in control of the BTC pairing here. XTZ USDT. So another one that's been a lead bull bouncer, and there's plenty of space for a weekly high or low. It's just a question of, do we confirm a daily downtrend for further weekly consolidation? 4 hour chart, solid bounce, have not topped out on that bounce yet. But if we do, aggressive bulls are scouting a 4 hour high or low off of 373. And XTZ was a lead bull bouncer in terms of the gains that we saw off those lows. And the BTC pairing is looking for a weekly high or low as well. It's an equilibrium here. It's not picture perfect, but low. Let's draw it. Low, high, higher low, lower high, scouting a higher low. This is going to be one to watch. The direction that this breaks is going to significantly dictate the momentum into the start of March or whenever it breaks. But for weeks, it'll dictate momentum. And also, again, the relationship that we've seen in the crypto space, if you tell me this pattern is going to break bear, I would likely say that Bitcoin is seeing a good bit of weekly consolidation and heading back down towards the low 30,000s. And if this pattern is going to break bull, that would likely tell me that the crypto space is seeing strength and Bitcoin is back up at the high of its bounce. And again, that's just making assumptions, but that's the relationship more often than not that alts and Bitcoin have had over the last year and a half. But anytime I see a tightening BTC pairing chart, the longer the time frame, the better. That's why I'm watching LTC BTC. Haven't made a trade in Litecoin in a very long time, but I watch that chart because it's tightening up, long drawn out. And look for the same here on XTZ BTC. Go back and look. Find when's the last time Ethereum BTC pairing was real tight. Backtest this. And what information could we gain from it? Let's go back to that beautiful weekly equilibrium that we were keeping an eye on in 2020. What happened when that finally broke? From July 20th to August 31st, 2020. Well, spoiler alert, it's going to be going up, but July 20th to August 2020. Look at this. Nope. Nope, right there. That's a worthwhile move, huh? It was tight on the US dollar pairing, absolutely, but it was more tight and more clear for me on the BTC pairing. Watch those BTC pairing equilibriums. A couple other names that have been weaker. They were lead bulls, but now they're weaker. So Luna, is this a weekly bear flag? Possibly. Bulls have to prove to us that it's not. And to prove that it's not, we got to get over 60.64 and see further bounce follow through here. So daily, again, condense it down to the 2-day time frame. Low, high, higher low is now set. Bulls must break 60.64. So this is a big enough move off of our recent low where if I'm making a play for that 2-day trend change, I am using this low as a stop. We've seen enough of a bull move off of it where if we were to drop down and break this level at this point, definitely a red flag and definitely increased probability of a weekly bear flag. Luna BTC is a double bottom. Pay attention to that. That support is a must hold. Sol, same thing, was a lead bull and now it's weaker. Look at that weekly chart. It's a potential bear flag. Let's see if the 2-day is similar. Again, just condensing it down to make it smooth, low, high of the bounce, trying for that higher low, but it's not set yet. One distinct difference, the BTC pairing had a clear lower low. So that is very notable to me to show continued weakness. Need a monthly higher low to form on the BTC pairing and the US dollar pairing at the same time. And if we keep dropping to lower lows on the BTC pairing, we're not going to form a monthly higher low on the BTC pairing. So have to see that strength return. And we are testing monthly EMA 12 now. But the BTC pairing has a lot of work to do. But Sol, trying to get a daily bounce going. And a name like Sol has a lot of space for a daily lower high. So I've been talking with a bullish mindset because that's how I trade this sector. But let's think bears. So if you want to hedge your bullish positions, or if you want to enter a bearish position, you're looking for a name that has pulled back more significantly the last week and has more space for the daily lower high to be the result of this bounce. And then you're watching the 4-hour trend. And we don't have clear 4-hour uptrends, but once we get them, if we get them, it's then a loss of the 4-hour uptrend. That's the first indication that a daily lower high is being set. So I personally would be scouting names that have BTC pairing weakness and that have a lot of space for a daily lower high to form if I'm scouting bearish entries. My jaw is literally hurting from talking. How much talking have I done today? A lot. I just did an hour-long cannabis podcast. I'm done. Quickie video. Sloppy. Apologies, but better than nothing. Do good things, and we'll see you with a more organized and thoughtful video on Wednesday. Before we get into it, I just want to differentiate between Trader Dan and Human Dan. Trader Dan looks at the headlines, looks at this as a game and numbers flashing on the screen. Human Dan realizes there's lives at stake, there's people on the ground, and it's a serious situation. So because this is trading and technical analysis, whenever I'm talking about anything in the real world, I am looking at it through the eyes of Trader Dan. So it may come off as cold or dismissive, but that's how I view things and why I'm able to eliminate my emotions from trading. So there's going to be a lot of games with these headlines, and there's always something. We have periods of calm stability as far as headlines are concerned, and then we have periods with high headlines or a lot of volatility and significant amount of headlines. And if you remember, going back to the Trump-China trade war, how big of a joke that entire scenario was and how the market would react to headlines in both directions, it became comical really quickly, and then it stayed comical 90% of the time that was taking place. So right now we're in a scenario where we're getting headline reactions, keeping in mind that headlines by design are to trigger our emotions, whether it's fear, usually it's fear. That's the design. And all you have to do is, being a content creator, I can put out the most bullish, massive upside, gonna make $1 million with $10 post. And if I post anything fearful, it will always get more views, more clicks, more everything. That's just the way that human emotions work. So if I want clicks on my article, on my headline, it's fear inducing. And you see people that create content do that all the time. Whatever, do you. That's what you got to do for the fear clicks, go for it. But just keep in mind, that's a giant game that's being played right now. And today was just the perfect example. Today we dumped down because it comes out that the Ukrainian president says an attack is scheduled for Wednesday. How big of a joke is that? I mean, I'm making fun of that, saying, oh, it's the element of surprise, no more. This is the tactic of the element of pre-scheduling in advance publicly your invasion to the world. It's a joke. So it then comes out that the president was being ironic. And next thing you know, the price is exactly back to where we were. And the technical setups of what was the most likely scenario all played out. And I'll show you what those were in just a second. But there were many names that were looking for hourly higher lows. And on the bearish reaction to the headlines, we held support. We set hourly higher lows. So again, the rule of thumb is stick to the charts. You want to be aware of headlines because you want to be aware, okay, is the 5-minute RSI about to get extreme? I want that information. As far as what the words are that cause the 5-minute RSI to get extreme, I don't care about that much. You're going to see bullish headlines and bearish headlines that don't relate to anything concrete changing. You'll have a headline that says U.S. officials voice that we're close to a diplomatic solution with Russia, and the market's going to go up on that. In reality, is that the case? We don't know. But the market will respond to those headlines, and those headlines will keep coming out because, again, it's a heightened environment of fear, and that gets the clicks. And that's the world we live in, and that's the game we're playing.